watching Gearz, brought to you by LMC Truck. Restore, maintain, customize.
You know, when you mention the term hot rod, the first thing that pops into most people's minds is a 30s era car like this, because this is the sort of car that pretty much started the whole thing. And what it started was the idea of building a car that was faster and louder and cooler and pretty much different than anything else out there on the street. The problem is, the only way you could have a car like this was to build it yourself. And a lot of people don't think that they can do this. Well, the idea behind Gearz is to show you that you can. So, a few years ago, we started a project called the Rat Roadster to prove this point. The Rat Roadster started out as some flat sheet metal that Brookville Roadsters stamped into some body panels and then assembled into a reproduction 32 Ford Roadster body and frame. From there, I laid out the direction of the project. We're gonna build a late 60s hot rod, roughly 1968. This car has got to run at least in the mid-12s because we're building the fastest car in the valley. Now, it also needs to handle, stop well, and be reliable enough for daily use. Number 4, it needs to be reasonably affordable. And if we pull these off, number 5 is gonna take care of itself. The next step, start building it. Step back, take a look at this, man. This is awesome. We are sitting at about 580 horsepower and just under 500 foot-pounds of torque. Of course, the secret to any cool project are the unique things that you dream up that deviate from what you would normally see. And the Rat Roadster is loaded with this kind of stuff. So, when you hit the switch, those babies come open, you are running right out of the headers, man. This is awesome. And what I'd love to have is a Billy Cox pick and a Jimi Hendrix pick.
You got it.
That I can put on the dash cover with clear coat so they'll permanently be on here. Can I get
You got
them?
it. I got a few at home.
Can I get you to sign my dash and stuff?
Sign your dad.
Now at this point, the car was ready for paint and upholstery. So, got in touch with my old buddy Doug LaRue, who had just started a new school called the Hot Rod Institute. He wanted us to check it out. So we did. The Hot Rod Institute is located in Rapid City, South Dakota, and what you see in the parking lot is just a small taste of what you're going to find inside. Those are pretty serious C-notches, man. I like that.
Gotta go all the way down.
First thing that you immediately notice is the scope and the depth of the students' projects. Hot Rod Institute rocks! These are not simple little scratch and dent cars. These are full-on chop, channel, and design projects, way beyond the skill level of what you would normally find in a technical school. And that's the whole point behind the Hot Rod Institute. Besides himself, Doug has gathered together some of the best instructors in the country to teach the students the art and the craftsmanship of chassis design, custom body modifications, custom upholstery work, performance engine building, paint and body work, and anything else that might have to do with cars or engines or motorcycles.
It took me 30+ years to get it over, to get to the point where I'm at, where these guys can come and take a year and a half, and they can have a good start on it.
So, not only does the Hot Rod Institute teach an incredibly high skill level and give the students a tremendous amount of hands-on experience, but they also have a professional rod shop right there on the campus, and they allow the graduating students to apprentice there and gain that valuable experience of working in a professional shop. And that is where the rat roaster comes in. Hey, welcome back to Gearz and the return of the rat roaster. Now, as you can see, this car looks a lot different than the last time you saw it, thanks to the guys at the Hot Rod Institute. Now, normally you would be insane to let a bunch of students touch a car like this. But, like we've already shown you, the Hot Rod Institute is not your typical tech school, and it doesn't have your typical instructors, which means the students don't get just a typical education. And to prove that, I decided to let Doug and his guys do the paint and the interior on the rat roaster to showcase the school, good or bad, on national TV. Let's take a look and see how they did. The special rat roaster green paint is a base coat clear coat PPG color created by Ron Payton and myself, and the paint and materials was supplied by Diversified Auto right there in Rapid City. The body was worked to perfection and then shot with color, and then it was cut and buffed until the car looks like a big piece of Jolly Ranchers sour apple candy. Now the hood, oh, that's something you haven't seen yet. And it was a little tricky because I wanted a functional 4-piece style hood, but it had to be convertible. So I could run the car totally without a hood, or with just a hood top, or with the full hood like you see here. The problem is, I've got side pipes, which I'm gonna keep, and I've got louvers that I wanna keep. So, starting with a 4-piece stock hood, here's what they did. Zeus fasteners hold the top in place and allow easy access to the engine. The sides of the hood are bolted in place, and they've been modified to fit nice and tight around the header. Now, there's a lower panel underneath the header that slides into the hood side to give you that full hood look, but it still allows easy removal of the side panel. Now, instead of having traditional louvers on the hood, you remember that old 56 Buick I pulled out of a junkyard? Yeah. Well, we sliced the portholes out of the fenders, shipped them off to Doug where he tightened them up and grafted them into the hood top for a totally cool, totally unique look. Now, obviously the inserts still need to be re-chromed, but you get the idea. Okay, to go with the convertible idea of the hood, we got a couple of air cleaner systems from K&N. Now, you already saw the little ones that go on when I'm running a hood, but when I take the hood off, I got these big old velocity stacks, so we got some serious hot rod attitude here. Not only that, but I've got the look that I want in either situation, and I've got plenty of air sucking down into that supercharger. The front fenders were finished up and painted like the rest of the car, And they not only add to the cool late 60s vibe, but like the hood, they are completely removable if I ever want to run this car fenderless. The Moon Tank is something that I got from Honest Charlie's Speed Shop, and I know you think that it's just going to be for looks, right? No, it's going to hold racing fuel. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plumb it into my fuel line using an electric valve, so all I got to do is flip a switch, and I'm running on racing fuel. You know, just in case I need it. All right, the interior of a Roadster can pose some interesting challenges if you're trying to do something different. Now, most people will stick an original style bench seat in here, and that'll cover up all this open area behind the seats. But if you're not doing it that way, you got a lot of area here that you've got to do something about. Here is what we did. The guys fabricated some door panels and a matching rear panel out of metal to fill in that open area behind the seats. Everything was punched with holes to establish a cool look that matches the Lucara steering wheel, the I Did It steering column, and the microphone shifter. Of course, the panels were upholstered in the same diamond tough pattern as the bomber seats for a classic hot rod look. A small console was fabricated to hold junk like speeding tickets, and the e-brake handle is tucked below it, out of the way. The carpet, like the seat upholstery, was designed to snap in place for easy access to the floor panels and the master cylinders beneath them. The diamond tuck look continues back into a matching rumble seat because any hot rod has got to have a place to carry passengers. The metalwork was completed by finishing off the bobbed fenders and then building a custom license plate box between the taillights. Now, the finishing touch is some custom lettering and pinstriping to remind everybody what this thing is that they're looking at. So what do you think? Did they pull it off? Yeah, I'll say they did. Now here's a shot of Doug and all the guys that worked on the car. And as you can see, they are proud of their work, and they should be. Now, after seeing this, if you think that you'd like to go to school to learn how to do this sort of stuff, then there should be no doubt that the Hot Rod Institute should be the first school you check out. Hey, we're back, and if you're just getting here, oh, you've missed a lot because the Rat Roadster is back from paint, and we've been walking you through the incredible job that the guys at the Hot Rod Institute did with the paint and the body work and the upholstery. So now I guess the big question is it done? Is it time to finally turn the key on this thing and drive it down the road? Unfortunately, not quite. I still have some wiring to hook up, got some plumbing to do, got to put a top on it, and have to do an exhaust system. And we're going to take care of that in later shows. But there's still some things that I want to show you today that we've done to this car that make it really unique. For example, there's the music connection with the vintage microphone shifter and the hidden exhaust cutouts, the Fender pickguard material in the dash panel, the Billy Cox and Jimi Hendrix guitar picks, and of course the wild Gibson 335 that I built with the Gibson Custom Shop. Next, we hooked up with the guys at GMP Diecast, and they're in the process of building a 1/25th scale, incredibly detailed replica of the Rat Roadster, and we'll let you know when those become available.
It's a great project, cool. And we'll definitely exercise every capability we have to make it happen.
Yeah. I want one. I want a model.
Yeah, I want a model of it.
Yeah. Well, there's three of them.
Yeah, there's three right there.
We're on the way.
We need 997 more.
Yeah.
Now at this point, hopefully you're thinking, man, this is really cool. But there is one other thing going on with this car that we want to share with you. Nashville music producer, certified car nut, and rock and roll historian Danny White has just written his first novel, and it is called The Last Rock and Roll Show. Now, this is a story about two kids that secretly tape Buddy Holly's last show in Clear Lake, Iowa, and then they end up on this wild chase across the nation, racing vintage hot rods and trying to stay ahead of the feds. I mean, it's an awesome story, and you can buy the book right on our website, gearstv.com. But the really cool thing is, you are already familiar with one of the cars in the book. If you'll notice the cover, yeah, that's the Rat Roadster. And it plays a major part in this story. But not just that. You see this old burned up Dodge? Yeah, it plays a major role in the story too. Now, if you're wondering how this thing got burned to the ground with its early Hemi and 6 deuces, and how the Rat Roadster fits into all of it, well, you're gonna have to read a book. I'm not gonna tell you. you?
Now, Quick Tip. Brought to you by E3 Spark Plugs. Born to burn.
When you're doing the final assembly on a vehicle, there is one thing that will really make a difference, and that is to use polished stainless steel hardware like this stuff we got from Garner Westcott. Because there is no doubt that polished hardware will look a whole lot better than what came on the vehicle or what you pick up at the local hardware store. But there is an issue with using stainless hardware, and that is when you thread it together, the threads have a tendency to gall, which means they can lock together and make them hard to get apart. So you always have to use anti-seize compound when you're using stainless hardware to keep that from happening. Now the question is, what happens if you don't have any anti-seize or you've run out? Well, believe it or not, something else will work just as well. Maalox or any kind of antacid. Now basically you just put this on the bolt and it will keep those threads from locking together just like regular anti-seize. Also, this will not burn off. So it's perfect for using on header bolts that are gonna go into an aluminum head. Which kind of makes you wonder, what exactly is in this stuff? If you want to learn more tips that will make your life easier, check out the tips page on the website.
Parts Bin. Brought to you by Cherry Bomb. Disturbing the peace since 1968.
You know, one of the most popular project vehicles to pick up these days is a Fox-bodied Mustang because they made them forever. They have a whole aftermarket to support them, and they're cheap and easy to find. But they do have one inherent weakness, and that is in the factory transmission crossmember. Look at this. Things are all cheap and flimsy. They allowed a lot of chassis flex, and they were prone to rust. Well, G-Force Performance decided to fix that problem forever. They came out with this billet aluminum crossmember for the Fox body chassis. Now look at this thing. It'll bolt right in place, and it's fully adjustable, so you can fit pretty much any transmission you want into the car. And it does away with most chassis flex because it does away with these soft rubber ends. Now, it also has double humps here to fit a dual exhaust system, and the best part is it'll fit any Fox chassis from a Mustang all the way up to an LTD. So if you've got one of these cars, stock or modified, you need this crossmember. And G-Force Performance says you can get one at crossmembers.com. When the new Challenger came out, people were excited because finally there was a new Mopar muscle car worthy of its 60s heritage. The problem is the legendary shaker hood didn't make the jump into the future. Fortunately, there's places like Suncoast Automotive Performance around to fill the void. Take a look at this. This is their new, fully functional shaker hood for the Challenger. Now this thing features all fiberglass design that's fully finished, top and bottom, so it's going to look just as good open as it does closed. Now of course this is a scoop that bolts down on the engine. It's going to shake, and then of course it seals up into the hood just like it's supposed to. You even have the proper little lip here to finish it off. Now the design of this scoop allows air to go in here, then continues through the scoop, out the sides, then goes through the hood, out to your stock air intake to give you a nice cool blast of air. So if you've got a Challenger and you want to shake up the look of it a little bit, Suncoast Automotive Performance has got the hood that'll do that.
Parts Bin. Brought to you by Cherry Bomb. Disturbing the peace since 1968.
When the time comes to do body work on your project, most people are familiar with this mess. You grab an old stir stick, scoop out a whole bunch of filler, flop it onto a piece of cardboard, then hopefully mix in the right amount of hardener and stir it all up without getting air bubbles in it, and then hopefully get it on the car before it all dries. Now, even if you do happen to do all this right, a lot of it ends up on the floor or just being wasted. Fortunately, Color Match has got a solution to this. Check it out. This is the 3M Dynamic Mixing Gun, and it utilizes a cartridge that has filler, hardener, and a disposable mixing tip all wrapped in one nice little package. The cartridge just snaps into the gun, then you just pull the trigger. The gun mixes the filler and hardener in a perfect ratio with no air bubbles, and then allows you to put the perfect amount exactly where you want it, ready to spread. So waste is virtually eliminated. The best part is the gun allows you to completely eliminate all of this mess because you can go right to your work surface and put the filler right where you want it, ready to spread. Then when you're done, you just pop off the tip, throw that away, take out the cartridge, store that for the next time that you need it. If you ever plan on doing any kind of body work at all, you really need to check out the 3M gun from Color Match. It will change the way you do body work.
What are you working on? Brought to you by Miller Electric, the leading manufacturer of arc welding and cutting equipment for your business or home shop.
Today's What Are You Working On comes from Jason Merrifield from Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, Jason's project is a 1958 Corvette. Take a look at it here. You can see that is a really nice looking car. Now, the interesting thing on this story is that Jason's dad bought this car in 1959 for $500. Jeez. Now, he said over the years, his dad did about 60% of the work, did the paint. You can see how nice the paint looks on this thing. And then he passed it on to Jason, and Jason's been able to take it up to where it is today. Now, it's got a 383 stroker in it, so this thing is a true hot rod, and Jason said he just loves driving around having fun with it. Man, there is nothing cooler than a father-son project, especially one that's been passed down. So, Jason, we're going to give you one of these Miller all-leather welding jackets. Now, I don't know if your dad's still around, but if he is, hopefully he'll be able to use this too. Now, the rest of you guys, and know you're working on something out there, send some pictures in to StaceyDavid.com. Let us see the funny pictures. Let us see the pictures of you working hard, all those crazy things, so we can share your journey with the rest of the folks here. All right, you know I got a lot of work to do on the Rat Roaster. I know you have work to do too, so we will see you next week.